Okay, so let's talk about networking. What does this mean? So, we've talked about how to, find the people or what kind of people you want to add to your social circle and, finding high value people versus low value people. But now let's talk a little bit about networking. I like to say that game is networking. The act of doing game is actually networking. When you go out and you approach women, you are actually networking. That's essentially what you're doing. But also networking to make friends and meet people and connect with people is really important too. And you can use your game skills, the skills that you learned in cold approach and approaching women, you can use them to network. Okay, so it's important that you understand, again, like I call it, game is networking. So let's actually break into what that fucking means. So networking is simply connecting. This is the actions that you do to bring into your life the people that you want, okay? So you have to network. Networking is simply connecting. That's what it is. Networking is connecting. And taking action in networking expands your mind. It expands your mind and how you see the world, and it gives you a chance to experience, again, those peak experiences. It gives you a chance to have those peak experiences and to get that emotional abundance. But you have to take action on it. Game is networking. When you go out and you actually meet people, when you go out and you actually take action, you are networking. So networking is just simply connecting. How do you properly connect, and what is the purpose of networking? So networking, the goal is to build connections with people. The goal is to build connections. Again, in game you're doing this too, but outside of game as well. You can use what you learned in game to network. So networking is building a connection with someone. It's where you meet a stranger. This is how I became a nightclub promoter for a while. I started getting access to better clubs, because what I would do is I did it once and it worked the first time I did it. I saw a guy that was on the street and I had seen him bring girls into clubs before, and I went up to him and I was like, "Hey man, I've seen you bring girls into clubs. I actually meet a lot of girls while I'm out," because I was learning. I was doing pickup at the time. I was assisting my mentor, and I went out and I just told him, I was like, "Can I learn from you? Like, I can bring you lots of girls, man. Can I learn from you?" He took me under his wing and I started promoting that way. So I networked, I reached out, but I took action on it. I didn't just wait for people to come to me, I took action on it. So game is networking. Now, how do you actually build quick connections? I think a lot of people think that building a social circle has to take a long time. A lot of people think that building a social circle is something that takes years and years and years and years to cultivate. But that's not necessarily true. You don't have to take years to build a social circle if you know how to do it the right way. If you know how to quickly connect with people. And there's a couple of different things you can do to build a quick connection. The first principle is that connections are built through subcommunication. Right? Connections with people are built through subcommunication. It's very similar to when you interact with a girl, how that girl knows what your intentions are. She knows, is this someone that I would give my time to? When you're going and you want to meet someone who is potentially high value, a high value friendship, or someone who could be a mentor, you have to have proper subcommunication to show what your intentions are. And there's two basic things: a winning smile and a strong handshake. Okay, now we're not going to get into too much detail because this is not a networking product, but it can be if you use it the right way. But this should help you make your game better. Should help you add people to your life. This can help with that. You have to have a strong smile and a winning smile and a strong handshake. So a winning smile is simply what I call creased eyes and creased corners. So creased corners is where you smile and the corners of your lips are creased right here, kind of on the sides, like, "What's up?" Right? "Hi, Tim, nice to meet you." Right? And then you have the strong handshake. So when I smile, a lot of times I crease my eyes. Not like this. Some people kind of don't understand what I mean. What I mean is almost like a little squint. It's almost like a light squint, right? It's like, "Hi, how are you?" Almost like you're laughing. Think of how would you laugh? Like, right? Would you open your eyes when you do it? So you're like, "Hi." And then you give a handshake. It's like a creased smile, proper smile, a winning smile, and a strong handshake. And then you shake hands with the person. You shake hands, a firm handshake. Generally, it's like there's a what's the rule when it comes to handshakes? There's like a certain number of handshakes. Some businesses teach other things, but generally it's like a 2 times or 3 times rule. Like you shake hands 3 times and then that's it. Like like 1, 2, 3, and then you don't do it again. Some people do it twice. Like 1, 2, nice meeting you, like that. If I were you, I'd do some research on this yourself outside of this about what's like a winning handshake. But those are the 2 proper sub-communication rules when it comes to connecting with someone and making a good impression when you're networking, right? So let's say you want to make a connection with someone who could be a potential mentor for you. That's how you would do it. "Hey, John, nice to meet you." Handshake. That's how you establish your intent. You establish who you are through that initial subcommunication. Same thing as being man to woman when you say hi to a woman. Eye contact, proximity, physicality. It's the same thing with networking. A winning smile and a strong handshake. The other thing, part of building quick connections, is you can't undervalue or overvalue people. The second you undervalue someone, that's when you're going to be overvaluing people. Because if you undervalue someone, you're measuring people's value based on what you think they have to bring to the table. And again, you're coming from that, that taking frame. We'll get into that in a second. But you don't want to overvalue or undervalue people. Everyone has the same fucking value. Now, is that factually true? No, because some people are high value, and not in terms of money or what they have to offer you like that, but some people are actually low value people as far as they're just like we talked about, low value characteristics. They're people that you don't want to spend your time with because they suck value instead of give out value. They're low value people. But I'm not talking about in that context. I'm saying don't overvalue people for the resources they may have to provide you, right? You shouldn't be thinking from that context. You don't want to overvalue or undervalue people. Think of everyone as the same. But however, you want to be putting yourself in a position to meet people that are generally high value. Does that make sense? So you don't have to worry about what if I run into someone who's low value, because you should be putting yourself in a position of not running into low value people all the time. If you're taking action on proper things, if you're taking action on healthy qualities, remember I gave the example of how I got my mentors, you should be running into people more often than not that are high value people, which is why you can stop overvaluing and undervaluing people so that because what happens is when you overvalue someone, you put that person on a pedestal, and then shit just gets weird. And that's when you turn people off. I mean, this happens to me still sometimes. Like, I'll meet someone who wants to take me out for lunch or some random thing like that. Not that I'm anything, but now, because I have this following of people following me on YouTube, people want that sometimes. They'll kind of take you out for lunch. But it's kind of weird because they'll overvalue me. It's like, I'm just a fucking dude who shits and pisses just like you do. I just get laid a lot because I practiced and obsessed with it for the past 6 years, right? But like, they kind of overvalue. You can see the way they come across when they just interact, and it makes the interaction not normal. It's just weird, and it just comes across as unnatural. So you don't want to overvalue anyone. You want to have everyone has the same amount of value. The other thing is you want to empathize with others. Look at the perspective that other people have. Look at where other people are coming from. For example, if you're at an event and you see someone at the front of the room and everyone's trying to get this person's attention, don't go up and try to have a 1-hour conversation with them when there's other people behind you in line. It's a very simple thing. And again, I've seen people do this a lot. It's like when you go out and you are meeting people, or you network with someone, or you meet someone that could be a potential mentor, or you talk to someone who you really hit it off with, empathize with their position. Where are they coming from in life? What do they prioritize as value right now in their life? For example, if I have someone that I know that I could be friends with, but they're a really busy person because they run a business, I'll tell them, I'll be like, let's grab a drink whenever you're free, and I'll just ask for their schedule, and I won't harass them for a drink constantly. Instead, I'll just say, yo, whenever you're free, let's catch up. And I'll plan out maybe a day on the weekend. So instead of me just, text me when you're free, I'll be more socially aware, and I'll empathize with where they are, and I'll think this person probably is the kind of person that would want to have an organized schedule, and I'll plan it out with them, right? I'll schedule a time for a call. The other thing that's important is when you're doing this, when you're finding these kind of people and you're going at networking, you have to come from the giver frame instead of the taker frame. So many people come from the taker frame. They come from the frame of what can I get? How can I give value to get something in return? And a lot of people think that when they give value, they're instantly in the giving frame. That's so not true. A lot of people give value from the context of trying to get in return. The second you're giving value because you want to get something back, you're no longer in a giving frame. You're in a taking frame. The giving frame, you can cultivate it, like I talked about before, about the power of saying thank you. Saying thank you is so fucking powerful, because when you say thank you, you are giving out positivity without expecting anything in return. And when you say thank you to everyone, even people that are otherwise insignificant to you, you begin to train yourself to be a giver and to be in that giving frame. I had to learn how to do this, and one person that taught me this is my father. My dad is an absolute giver, and I learned this from him a lot. Like, I was taught always say thank you to everyone. No one is special. No one is more special than others. Like, the person who gave you a fucking hamburger at McDonald's, you say thank you the same way you would to an investor in your company. You appreciate both. You appreciate the time of both people, right? What happens is a lot of times you begin to appreciate other people's time, and you begin to appreciate who they are, and you stop putting people on a pedestal. It's crazy how this happens. You say thank you to everyone. You train yourself to appreciate everyone, and you rise in your value because you're treating everyone the same. So now you become the giver instead of the taker. Another thing is learning how to listen. You have to learn how to listen and respond to others. Instead of being completely self-centered, remember we talked about, I believe, in module number 2, when it comes to the self-identity, you should be a little more self-centered when it comes to, talking to women and expressing yourself around women. But when it comes to people in general, just in general, you don't want to be a self-centered person. You want to learn how to listen to others and listen to other stories and where other people are coming from. Learn how to fucking listen. These are the important parts of networking. Networking is very simple. Again, you have to go out and take action on it. And remember, the best way you can start taking action and network and meet people that you want want to meet is by taking action in your own life through personal growth. But in order to attract the people you want and actually get success networking, you want to learn how to build quick connections, and you build quick connections through your sub-communication, through your winning smile, through having a strong handshake, and you also come from the giver versus the taker frame. Learn how to be the giver. Learn how to be the person that gives expecting nothing in return. Give that wealth of emotions out to people instead of, looking for how you can exchange value all the time. I want to exchange value. I want to take you out so I can get value from you. No, fuck that. Learn how to be the giver. Learn how to be the person who can give those positive emotions out. Start by learning how to say thank you to everyone, and then listen to what other people have to say. Listen to other people's perspectives. All right. When I was being mentored, one of the biggest things that attracted me to my mentors, I would just listen to what he said and I would do it. I would listen and I wouldn't even ask tons of questions actually. I mean, I would to a certain extent, but it wasn't like more value, more value, more value, lecture me, lecture me, lecture me. No, it was just like, oh, thank you so much for sharing that. Awesome. Let me go try it and I'll tell you how it worked. All right. That's how you attract mentors, and that's how you network properly. That's how you make these quick connections.